What did Poilievre's leadership do to repel women?
We got some new developments. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. So there's rumors going around that Elizabeth May might be the new speaker. That's right. Stumbling Juice Elizabeth May. That would be quite the sight, wouldn't it? We also have a segment with Robert Fife from the Globe and Mail and David Cochrane laughing at and humiliating Pierre Poilievre. This is some disgusting stuff. The state of this paid propaganda media is uncontrolled in Canada. Got a whole bunch of other stuff. Let's jump into this. So in our top story tonight, we've got this. So now you can see instead of 169, it's 168. So the Liberals have lost this seat to the Bloc, which is great, but they're still working on a dirty deal to get a majority government. So that's what we're seeing here. The Terrebonne riding flips from Liberals back to Bloc with lead of 44 votes. So they're counting it again now because of this, because it's so tight. We see that right here. So 23,340 versus 23,296. These are tight races. And with that, we've got Elizabeth May coming out and saying she wants to be the Speaker of the House. So I don't know if Fergus really wants to step down, because Fergus did get reelected and they get an extra $100,000 a year to be the Speaker. So instead of just 200 grand, he makes 300. Greedy Moneybags May wants that job. And she also did come out and say that she would vote with the Liberals, essentially securing them one of those seats, but then the Liberals just lost one. So that would put them back up to 169. They still need to convert 3 NDP to switch sides, which is what they're trying to work on right now. I'm hearing a lot of rumors. We know Jenny Kwan won't do it. There's still 6 of them. They only need 3 to switch sides. With all that talk about the NDP and will people switch sides, Mark Carney coming out today and saying we're expanding the Canadian dental care plan. Starting today, Canadians aged 55 to 64 can apply. In the coming weeks, applications will open to Canadians aged 18 to 54. Because of the plan, millions of Canadians, yada, yada, yada. Was this an NDP deal to have them jump over to his side? Are all of them coming over to the Liberals because of this? I don't know. Suspicious timing of this, as government EXE is corrupt, as posted here. Canada's national debt 1.3 trillion. Annual interest payments are 65 billion or 1.2 billion weekly. The average family's debt share is $120,000, with half accrued under the last 10 years of Liberal government. So get rid of your Canadian dollars, because they're going to be going down in value soon. Canadian economy headed for recession this year, according to Deloitte Outlook. I wonder why. Yeah, I wonder why. Who's paying for all this? And we got this clip here. Mark Nixon saying, how many Conservatives do not believe Doug Ford is a true Conservative? What do you think?
On whether Doug Ford is a good enough Conservative, Jamil Javani's not the only one who thinks that. I know that there are Conservatives who work for the Ford government at Queen's Park who don't think Doug Ford is a Conservative. There's
more than just one, that's for sure. Yep. Doug Ford, yes, he's a Liberal. Next up, we have an incredibly repulsive, insulting clip here on CBC. This is disgusting. So to tee this up, this is Robert Fife of the Globe and Mail and then David Cochrane.
You have MPs that have told me that they found it really difficult going door to door, because a lot of people were saying, we like some of the policies you're doing, but we think your leader's a dick. And we really, and we think he is, I'm sorry, but that's what they're.
Oh, careful, Cochrane. You're enemy number one now. Piece of trash. This is absurd. These guys get paid so much money and he's laughing about that. He needs to be fired and he needs to be fined. We need to find some organization and file complaints.
Tell him.
All right. I can have some ombudsman's paperwork to fill out before I go home tonight, I think. But yes, not in such language, but I have heard similar sentiments expressed from conservative candidates.
So that's why I'm saying, yes, we think your leader's a dick. And we really, and we think he is, I'm sorry, but that's what they're telling me.
All right.
This isn't sitting well, Cochrane. I'm going to dig into your entire life and expose you, piece of trash. He thinks he's immune. He is not. Yet still gained 27 seats. Imagine that. All because of lies from the media from the CBC. This network wants to be taken serious when they have this kind of crap going on here. Are you kidding me? How is this professional journalism? Check out this clip from Rebel News. Mark Carney, it says down here, I spoke with the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres today. In this time of rising conflict, Canada is ready to lead. So he's already talking with this eco-climate nut at the UN. He's getting things in motion.
And for scientists, it is unequivocal. Humans are to blame. All this is entirely consistent with predictions and repeated warnings. The only surprise is the speed of the change. Climate change is here, it is terrifying, and it is just the beginning. The era of global warming has ended, the era of global boiling has arrived. The air is unbreathable, the heat is unbearable, and the level of fossil fuel profits and climate inaction is unacceptable. Leaders must lead. and for
Okay, this eco windbag was one of Carney's first stops to talk to. That sounds a lot, doesn't it? Here's how it works. All the wealthy Canadians in union pension plans will benefit from Brookfield Infrastructure Partners' large investments in U.S. oil industry. Most Canadians, however, medium and lower class, will keep paying a high price for their so-called clean energy. Most Canadians voted for this on April 28th, and they don't know it. I believe we're going to have real problems. We need it to change so badly because of the climate hysteria. Thanks to a bunch of buffoons in Canada, we are screwed now. Oil and gas will enrich a country, while energy projects will enrich only a few. Got this one from Table Salt. Says breaking Toronto condo market is in serious trouble. 22,000 unsold pre-construction condos in the GTA and another 7,000 on MLS. That's outrageous. That is sales 177 per month pre-con and around 1,000 resale. This is bad. This is really bad. I mean, our economy is so bad right now because the Liberals, and what did people do? They elected the Liberals again because they have no idea. He's also got this one adding to that. It says 78 months supply of condos. That's how backed it up is, because no one has money to buy this stuff. A record high number that was approximately 7 times greater than the balanced supply of 10 to 12 months of supply. So while Canadians need housing, nobody can afford this housing. A bunch of condo developers are about to go bankrupt. Yep, nobody wants a 500 square foot prison cell for $500,000 anymore. This guy saying he sold in February for massive profit, now is renting and waiting for the free fall. That's a smart move. People don't like to do that, but realistically, it's a good move. If you're able to time the market, it's not easy, but if you do it right, you can get rich doing that. Got this one from Table Salt. It says major breaking. TD Economics predicts an 8.2% drop in the price of GTA condos this year as 30,000 units sit on the market elbows up. Ooh, that's spicy. Nobody's buying. Prices going down. People need homes, still can't afford those homes. Halifax might be next. New units everywhere, apartments or condos. Not sure who would be able to afford them. That's what's happened to Canada. Nobody can afford anything. And what did Canadians do? They voted for another term of Liberals because that's the dumb thing to do. Maybe we can get a tariff on houses and keep the prices up. The Chinese housing market has contracted 35% since January, with businesses already struggling before tariffs. With a large percentage of Toronto units owned and occupied by Chinese, I expect the damage will be greater. That is, very interesting, because a lot of Chinese money, big money. You got to think of how many millionaires and billionaires are in China. It's a lot more than we have here in Canada. They have thousands of millionaires that come here, dump cash into our country, buying up houses as a safe place to keep it away from the CCP. Foreclosures galore on the way. Carney's sunny ways. Got this one from Mark Nixon. We've got 2 First Nations chiefs here in Alberta that are unhappy with the whole referendum idea. Cease and desist, separatist threats. You're attempting to manufacture national unity crisis. No, the national unity crisis is already here. By enabling a referendum on separation and a fanatical set of individuals at the exact same moment when Canadians need to unite against Donald Trump's America, province of Alberta is on treaty lands. I mean, you can't keep going back to 100, 150, 200 years ago and say, well, we had this before. That is not the reality of today. So what really needs to happen here? Danielle Smith needs to get these people on board. Give them a seat at a table, show them economic prosperity, financial prosperity to their people with separation, and get them supporting the idea, because then what's Mark Carney going to do? He's got nothing. He'd be absolutely screwed. Like, he would have no way to push back against this, because then people could say, oh, you're going against First Nations, and it just would blow up in his face. That's what I think she should do. Whether they really have a right to say or command any sort of control or not, getting them on board would really help in the separatist movement. They will get a better deal with an independent Alberta. Yeah, they would. Much better. They got this story here posted by Margie here. It says, this is Liberal for you. The party for the people. Carney Liberal candidate Nell Thompson is apologizing after posts from 2024 were revealed in which she called for Canada to stop keeping ancients alive so long in reference to elderly people in healthcare settings. Yeah, that's not a good look there, Nell. This is the Maid Party after all, so not really surprised. Next up, we got a clip from CBC here. Commentator Amanda Alvaro, who got 17,000 in contracts from the Liberals, claiming Pierre Poilievre's messaging repelled women voters.
I also think one of the most damaging ads of the campaign was the Everything is Broken ad. And so for those who hadn't seen it, this was an ad where they took clips of Trump saying everything is broken and they spliced it with clips of Poilievre saying everything is broken. And I think that comparison, after, a long time of him using a lot of toxic language, which turned off a lot of women, we've talked a lot on this panel about the big gender divide, and we'll see if that materializes tonight. But with, the Liberals up in some polls 20 points with women voters, What did Poilievre's leadership do to repel women? Part of it, I think, was that Trump comparison. Part of it was the language that he used.
No, it was the endless attacks on Facebook. There's groups on Facebook that just put out these big lists of lies. People who post that stuff should be getting prosecuted.
For 2 years leading up to the election, part of it was the sloganizing, but it'll be really interesting as we look back on the results to see, did it end up coming to fruition? Were women coming out in support of Liberals the way that we expect, maybe hope them to come out today?
Yeah, Andrew, I'm talking to Conservative candidates and sitting MPs throughout this campaign, a lot of them in Ontario, and they tell you if they knock on a door and it's a woman over 40, you're not going to get what you're looking for there in terms of voter ID. So,
oh yeah, that's not what you're going to get at the door? Are you going to get this at the door? Conservatives ask for ethics probe into Liberals' $17K sweetheart PR contract. Says the sweetheart deal was given out by International Trade Minister Mary Ng's office. 1 month into the world event, at the time, many Canadians were without a source of income and many small businesses were peering into the abyss. One well-connected Liberal was thrown a nearly $17,000 contract by her close pal inside Justin Trudeau's cabinet. It's well known that Miss Ng and Miss Alvaro, are part of a long-standing group of close-knit friends dating back to Toronto Liberal circles during the days of former Premier Dalton McGuinty's provincial government. The contract was disclosed in recent government response to an order paper requesting breakdown of public relations media training contracts. It's an insider contract, they're friends, more corruption in our government. Are we surprised? So next up, let's check out this video here from Rebel News, just a few snippets of it. So Cat Canada going around Nanaimo asking people who they voted for and why. Every single one of them is completely clueless. They do not know what's going on in our country. They just voted straight off the hip with no understanding of Mark Carney. This is a scary thing.
Carney won, so...
Is that a good thing?
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Why did you vote for Carney?
Because he makes most sense out of people, so...
What makes the most sense to you from his policies?
I don't know.
She asks him a couple more times. He doesn't have an answer.
So you voted for Mark Carney then?
Yes.
Why did you vote for Mark Carney?
He's virtually a genius in finances and whatnot, and he has a lot of past experience. And right now, dealing with the U.S. and their president is going to require somebody with a lot of experience.
So these people fail to realize that just because someone is smart, which Mark Carney is, he is a smart guy. Unfortunately, he's not acting in these people's best interest. These people got duped. They don't even know it. They need to think for themselves. They need to do some research.
Pleased overall, yeah.
So you're happy Carney got in?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. What was the important reason for you to vote for Mark Carney?
He comes across to me as somebody that is trustworthy.
He comes across as someone who's trustworthy. Even though I didn't do research into him, I'm just going to vote for him. Now putting Canada's economic future in jeopardy. Congratulations. This is the problem. People should not be voting for someone if they don't know who they're voting for.
As a plan, both domestically and internationally, and those were two important points for me.
Yet you didn't research him. Thanks, buddy.
Most important voting issue?
The climate change and low-income housing.
Low-income housing. Do you think the fact that Canada is having a massive influx of new people, immigrants coming in here, that's contributing to the housing prices and the housing crisis in Canada?
No, I do not think that at all.
So this guy doesn't know what's going on either, because clearly if you add more people and you don't add enough homes, then housing prices go up. This guy's interesting because he's happy that Carney won, but he's also a Green Party supporter.
So you think that housing construction has kept up with the demand?
No, the housing construction has not kept up with demand, but the problem is in this country is that we have rampant inflation caused hugely by Trump's tariffs. We also have a lot of...
This guy's unbelievable. Trump did not increase our inflation. This is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life. It's because Justin Trudeau printed more money than every other prime minister combined. Please, oh please, somebody educate this guy. They think Trump came in and screwed up our country in 3 months, even though it's been devastated for 10 years.
People just buying up houses to sit on as investments.
Decade. You don't think that mass immigration has contributed to that in any way?
I do not think mass immigration has contributed to that in any way. And I think you're trying to put a very negative context on Canada's immigration policy.
Unfortunately, we have a lot of people who just don't understand how life works. They come up with ideas on how they think life works, but that's not actually how things work. So what's sad here is Cat Canada goes around and asks numerous people, probably 10 or 15 people, and every single one of them are absolutely clueless. These sheep just have no idea what is going on. Bunch of drones walking around in the city. Next up, we got John Bolton saying Carney made a mistake during his victory speech.
If I could give Prime Minister Carney a little free advice, I think he took a wrong turn in his victory speech the night of your election when he said that the relationship with the United States would never be the same again. And spoke very negatively about the United States and the views that it held, when what he really meant to say was the views that Donald Trump holds. The vast majority of the American people, the vast, overwhelming majority, never had the slightest interest in making Canada the 51st state. And many of them, I would say a clear majority, don't agree with what he's done on the tariff policy. Specifically with respect to Canada and Mexico, our partners in North America. So I would say to the Prime Minister, you can have whatever view you want of Donald Trump. I certainly have my view, and I'm sure he will have his. But do not say that Trump is equivalent to the United States. Do not equate the people of the United States and their views with Donald Trump. I think if you fix that, you'll be off to a really good start.
Mark Carney's making those statements because he wants to usher in a green new world order, nothing to do with Trump or anything else. He's just using the current situation as his cover. With all that said, we should find out soon if Elizabeth May is going to take over that position of speaker, because then Fergus could be in his seat, and considering they need 172 seats, that gives them a free one. The real question is, will Mark Carney be able to lure over 3 NDP to the dark side?